what's the point of all this and this increasing talk and conversation and debate and vilifying of narcissistic behavior? What's the point? And how is the shifts in the world contributing to this conversation? Well, let's talk about it. Hi, and welcome back. Just out with the dogs. It is June 26, 2025. It's about 9 in the morning, warming up real nice here. We've been getting steady rain off and on actually, and that's why we're so lovely and green here in the desert hills of Kamloops, British Columbia. I wanted to touch base this morning because I have been posting a lot about narcissism and the behaviors that engage with that frequency. And there is a method and purpose to everything that I'm posting, connecting back to a bigger picture. Many of my posts, videos, messages are about pulling back. So pulling back your frequency and your perspective to be able to see what is actually happening around you. And that way you have a better understanding and awareness so that you can live more seamlessly within it. And so part of that discussion that I want to have is something that I actually drew when I first was openly going down this road of reawakening, coming back online, or maybe just fully coming online here in this realm, paradigm, dimension, however you want to call it, or whatever you want to call it. And that was last year. So what I did was I was contemplating, as many of us do when we hit a certain point in our life, and I think a lot of people are at any stage of life right now, because the world feels so chaotic and it's very difficult to live within this pressurized environment of constant chaos and different ways of being told how to survive. And so the question that we ask is, what is my purpose? What is a soul? What is humanity? Why are we here? Having contemplated my existence and humanity's existence and how insignificant we are if we consider humanity as a species, how insignificant we really are, and yet how self-involved we become as a measure of consciousness, I suppose. And so in my early days of my, I guess you could say, 3D breakdown, because I couldn't do it anymore, to live in the 3D world without connecting myself back to a higher purpose and a higher source and a greater understanding, because there had to be something more. There's no way that we are here for battle, just battle and struggle and strife and suffering. And so I, as I've mentioned before, have written steadily and still do every single day, allowing all of my thoughts and different, people call them downloads and messages, but they're coming through me, so that makes no sense. And I do believe that we're all connected to a higher knowing. So really, am I downloading something from somewhere, or am I just remembering? Because it feels more of just a remembering, like I'm tapping into something I already knew. So I drew what I believe to be a soul's journey and a soul's path and the mission and purpose. And so I will attach that here. And okay, so now that you've seen that, and I've attached that in this video so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So I drew source, and source to me just always goes back to the sun. The sun is source. And so the sun is our energetic fuel and our influence. And so every soul's mission being expelled from the sun, I could say expelled because it feels like that's your journey. So you are a figment of energy that comes into a different field, atmosphere, frequency, vibration comes in, and there's paths that we go along, and people and other souls have their own paths. And so then we may be in alignment and paralleled, or we may cross paths at some point, and that's when our frequency matched, but then we continue to go on. And so the struggle then is in that environment when that soul is meant to continue moving on its frequency, as is that one, and you end up being stuck in this cyclical pattern, in that frequency of trying to hold on or whatever it is. And when you look at it like that, you wonder, okay, but why? And so when you look at that and say, okay, because I'm a visual person and I need to see things to understand, so this is just how I can receive it and understand it. So if that's the case, and these souls get stuck in this crosshairs, and they're in this pattern, and they have choices, so they can decide to address it or not. And if they address it, they go through this portal, which takes them through the center, and it moves them along. So they get to continue on with the frequency and the path that they were meant to be at. And when they reach the outer rim of this experience of what they were meant to go out and do, so like a research mission to go and explore and expand and evolve and understand and determine what consciousness is capable of when left to its own devices. Like, will consciousness enmesh with another soul in order to support? So is empathy stronger than selfishness? And the extreme of empathy, the toxic empathy, or will a person just end up being over in the selflessness and never having gone through any of the patterns themselves? The one soul enmeshes with the other. They take them as far as they can, so almost like pulling them out of that paradigm, or attempting to, and then releasing them so that they're out of that struggle. So it's like, I was just driving here, and there was someone pulled over on the side of the road, and they had help. They had called for help. They had a problem with their tire, and they were obviously heading somewhere, and they got stuck. And someone came to their rescue and helped them change their tire. And that person went back to doing what they were doing. And the person driving with the problems with their car and their tire then continue on their journey. They don't then take the person who helped them with their vehicle with them where they're going, because their purpose was to come and fix the tire. And they don't then turn around and follow the tire person back to the tire shop. That's not how it works. So It's no different than being a human going through these different relational patterns where someone comes in, like I had said before, like a person who has deep empathy, a mission to help and support these people who are stuck, these souls that were sent out and got stuck, right? And so the empath goes into that difficult situation with the wisdom, the love, the compassion, the empathy, the greater awareness that we are all one. They go in to this war zone and they support and they do everything they can possibly do, and they end up being so depleted. But their job then is they've done what they've been meant to do. So then they extract themselves, and then they continue on their journey to the outer rim. And having completed that journey and that path, which is where we are right now, I believe, is that narcissism will be no more very soon. It cannot be. So having completed that part of the mission, then they are boomeranged back to source, where it is complete enlightenment and transcendence, and a deeper awareness and understanding of the bigger picture of all that is. And I believe that the big influence right now that is contributing to all of this, as it is meant to, as perfect timing is and divine timing, is that the polar shifts, when I was looking at the polar shifts, and I've been watching a geophysicist. Well, I've been watching several, but there's one in particular that I find very passionate and knowledgeable, and I love that. I love those two things. And so his name is Stefan Burns. And so I've been listening and learning a lot actually from him, because he takes the time to explain different things, because I've drawn things that I don't entirely understand. And then when he is all passionate about describing, Schumann resonance and the polar shifts and the different things that are contributing to our expression and experiences, and how it's reflecting in earthquakes and floods and, solar flares coming off of the sun, and, we have coronal holes, all of these things that I'm so fascinated by, because I've drawn many of these things and they look very similar. I just didn't have this language to put it on. So, tying that all back together, this polar shift and narcissism. So, empaths go in to do their jobs, magnetized to the situation and to that behavior, because they're there to actually plant the seeds, like I said before. They plant the seeds. They have to extract themselves, which can be very challenging, because it would be so much easier. Narcissistic behavior, people who demonstrate the extreme of selfishness, right? That extreme abandonment of self when they're a child from trauma, whatever it is, or maybe they came here like that. That would take us off track. They go in, they plant the seeds of worthiness and value and love and higher vibration. And can you hear the crickets going insane right now? I love it. Plant the seeds and extract themselves to continue on their journey, having completed their mission and purpose. And the polar shifts, when they come together, what I've come to understand, having looked it up, is the center line. If the infinity, so like the infinity circle like this, and it's like the magnetic field of the earth, if it were to flip on itself, in that center is the weakest magnetic center. And so bringing these two things together, what's happening is there's a clearing out. There's a clearing out. It cannot continue to exist because it's become one. And so in that center place, the way I see this, the weakest magnetic pull is peace. There's no extreme pushing, there's no extreme pulling, there's none of that. It's just a nice flow, steady, calm. And so if you resonate with having experienced this all-encompassing relationship with someone who is a lost soul on their mission, stuck in their cycle, and you have done your job and you have planted your seed and you have the scars to show for it, just know you're not meant to stay there. You're not. You need to extract yourself however you are able to do it. And it may take some time or not, but the way that the world and the way that everyone is speaking about it is becoming more illuminated. Just be very careful not to then get caught in the polarization of an us and a them again, because then you're perpetuating the narcissist story. Stay in the center, extract yourself and move on with your life having learned the lessons, and stop engaging. That lost soul that you went to help to save, whatever you thought you were doing, it's up to them now. They decide if they're going to continue to carry the burdens of victimhood, the way that they see themselves, or grandiosity. Either way, it comes from very low self-esteem, low self-worth, and they've gone to extremes in expressing it. Subconsciously, consciously, it doesn't matter. That's not your job to understand. Your job is to extract yourself and let them be autonomous beings to decide what they're going to do with their own life, just like you do. You are an autonomous being. And while it may not feel like it because there's so many things coming in at you, all you do is take one step at a time to show yourself, whatever that feels like, whatever calling that is, for you to stand in your power, in your center, in your calm, in your knowing, in your remembering. That is where you are at. So step into it. And if that narcissistic behavior shows up again, do not engage with it. They want you to carry them a little bit further. They don't want to do the work themselves, and they are not. That is not their path. Their path is to make a decision. Do I want to A or do I want to B? And if I want A or B, I need to make decisions that match that for myself. And I need to take actions for myself. And that's the same for you. Can you hear the crow? Oh, I love it. All right. Well, I just wanted to share this because I have so much I want to share. And I just trust every morning as I'm writing, I trust where it's leading me. I trust. Oh my God, it's another hawk and a crow. You have got to be kidding me. Do you see this? Hawk and a crow. Every single time I have come out here now, last 3 times. And they flew right over to me. I love it. If you don't think the world is magical, you need to think again. Dig into your knowing. Get your brain out of the way. Get that filter out of the way. It's clogged. Look at that. Love it. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and stay connected, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.